Hi everyone, hope you're all okay. I think the majority of us are trying to stay safe, keeping ourselves indoors, working from home, things like that. Sadly, kind of surprisingly, even for myself, I'm obviously interested in human behaviour. I kind of like to think that I know how a lot of people sort of react to certain situations. And in a big population, you'll get people doing all sorts of things. You'll, you know, you'll get some following what they're being told. You'll see others that will react to how they feel, and you'll have others who will react to what they see. It's disappointing, really, for myself. Those that kind of know anything about me, I come from a background of working with quite vulnerable people before I got into doing a lot more about what I do now. That included working with the homeless. I've seen people with very serious chest problems caused by very different sort of issues. There's a couple that really stick in my mind, which I wanted to share because this is what people involved in this virus and ill with this virus are going to be going through. I've seen people with pneumonia. I've seen people that have been living on the streets and that have gone into hospital on ventilators and who have died from pneumonia. I've worked with people that have got other serious chest problems, COPD, for instance, through either drug use, smoking, through work environments. If you imagine your lungs are like a balloon, you blow them up, you feel they expand, you fill those up with air, and then you let the air out, obviously, when we breathe. Pneumonia and those types of things, what kind of tends to happen is that the inside of our lungs get very sticky, they stick together like a balloon. When you've blown it up a few times and you let all the air out, try and blow it up again, it's a little bit harder because that moisture's got into there. Two sides of the balloon stick together. It's a bit harder to get the air in. That's basically kind of what happens with our lungs. It is a horrible way to go. Long-term smokers, we always come back to that. I will help out anybody anytime to give up smoking. I couldn't encourage people more to give up smoking because I've seen so many people just through smoking to have those breathing issues and those breathing problems. It is a horrible way to go. Pneumonia takes me back to working with, as I said, a homeless person who he had a chest infection to start off with. He ended up that turned into pneumonia. He was admitted to hospital. We saw him walking along the street. He had like a rattle in his chest. A lot of medical people will know that, and it's nicknamed sort of a death rattle. It's kind of what it's known as because, if you've kind of got that in your chest, you may not be okay in the future. This person that I was talking about, he was put into an induced coma when he got to hospital. He never came out of that coma. That was him gone. That was the end of him. Children left without a dad. Mum and dad left without a son. It goes on. The ripple effects go on. We're not talking about one person. I know people have said about flu, colds, it's just another flu, things like that. There's a reason why pubs are shut. There's a reason why restaurants are shut. There's a reason why we get 5 o'clock briefings every day from the Prime Minister telling us stay at home, stay out of the parks, stay out of big gatherings. and there's a reason why they've shut all the places that they have done at the moment. They are going to shut a lot more. I think that's going to happen in a way. I think across the country, I think there's a feeling that we are waiting for that to happen. I can understand. I think they're trying to break up the majority of the way that we behave. So we are in separate groups rather than a majority following each other, because that means that different people will be affected by this at different times, which releases the pressure on the NHS. I think they're doing a good job at the moment, but they need our help. I've seen, like I've said, the effect that pneumonia has on people. You wouldn't choose to have it. Doesn't matter how old you are. Young, old, you would not choose to have that. But by going out, spending time in groups, spending time in places where you really don't have to be, you are choosing. You are making a choice to run that gauntlet a little bit more than those people that are choosing to stay at home. And if you're doing that, and then you're going into houses where people are choosing to do what they're being told, you're risking them and their health. And you're putting them at serious risk. You will take it seriously. You will take it seriously when a relative of yours is in hospital, when you can't be near them, when you can't sit next to them and comfort them, and you have to know and realise that hospital staff are the only people that they're kind of seeing at the minute and who are helping them. You will realise it when your relative or a friend, or you hear of someone that you didn't know had an underlying health problem, is in hospital, and unfortunately they die and they don't come out. You will then realise and you will then feel it when you cannot say goodbye to that person. When you've had that option of holding someone's hand that is close to you taken away from you because you cannot be there. There is thousands of people going through that at the moment. Don't be one of them. Help. Stay at home. As much as you can do, stay at home.